today we get to draw Starry Night. So this piece is one of my personal favorite paintings because of the way that Van Gogh is able to express the feeling and the sensation of what it feels like to be standing on this mountaintop looking out into the starry night. And the reason why this piece is so famous is because of this universal human experience that so many people around the world have experienced. And that's why so many people feel so connected to this piece. And by us drawing it, we're able to see how Van Gogh used his different movements and marks and how he used lines to express the feeling and the emotional sensation of this night sky. And so when you're drawing this, I really want you to notice the lines, the way that the lines are moving, the direction of the lines. Try to mimic it in your own unique way, just like I'm doing right here. It's obviously not going to be identical to his, and that is okay. That's not the point of this. The point is to get inspired by how Van Gogh used and arranged his lines on the canvas. And so try it out, have fun with it. And I really want you guys to free write today about an experience that you've had in your own life that reminds you of this starry night moment, because I can probably guarantee that you've had a moment where it was a beautiful starry night and you looked up at the stars and you felt the cold wind blowing on your skin. You smelled the crispy air, and you looked up at the sky and you just saw these beautiful beaming starlights. Maybe if you live in a place like Chicago, like I do, and you traveled somewhere really, really bright and starry, maybe that will remind you of this. And so for me, my little story is when I was in Gandila, which is my grandmother's village in Greece. We were standing at night in the mountains, and it's obviously Greece, so there's no light pollution, and you could totally see all of the night sky, all of the stars in the sky. The moon was so bright, and I just remember feeling this overwhelming sensation of gratitude for this earth and gratitude for being on this earth, and just admiring God's creation. And so I really think that's what Van Gogh is that's the emotion that Van Gogh is trying to get out of us, is that visceral experience, that emotional sensation. And he's able to capture the feeling and that emotion through lines and shapes and the way that the lines and shapes are arranged. And so us as artists, when we're making art, we want to think about our arrangement of lines and shapes and the feeling we want others to feel when they look at our work. And so I really believe that Van Gogh is such an inspiration for so many reasons, but he is teaching us how to use lines to express ourselves and to show the feeling of that place more than just the place itself in a photorealistic way. And that's why abstraction is just so powerful and so moving. And so like I'm doing here, I'm just kind of sketching and being really loose and not really trying to be perfect, but just trying to capture the geometric shapes that are in the village as best as that I can, and then just kind of adding some finishing touches. If you want, you can totally do this study in colored pencil. That would be fun. I chose to do it in black and white just so I can really capture those lines and the movement of the lines with just a basic line or basic pen marks. But feel free to do this study over again in colored pencil. The more you do it, the more times you look at this piece, the more you study it. Every time I do studies of this piece, because I do studies of this way too much. Fun fact. But the more I do it, the more little details I notice. And so there is never any shame in doing studies more than once. I honestly encourage it. Do it in color, do another one in black and white, see how it turns out. And I hope you guys had fun today, and we'll talk soon.